also responded to a lot of calls. And you really get to see your heart start to pump a little bit when some of those calls are taking place, and you feel the adrenaline, and how the officer handled it with the smoothness and the professionalism that he did was amazing. And our officers certainly have a tough job out there as well. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Commissioner Klein?
Yeah, two things. First, I want to thank the county staff who was out the home show, to our employees who were out there. Also want to acknowledge our PR department for being out there. Often our county staff tell people no, or give the impression they're not working with them, where I saw a lot of friendly relationships and conversations. And for our PR department to be out there promoting them, I think you added to the image of county government. So thanks to all who attended there. Another thing I want to bring up, it's been brought to my attention over the weekend that part of the training center is now being proposed for a sports center. There is a concept plan. There's been conversations on funding. If that's in our budget, I would like to see the detailed sheets of the training center and the proposal for the rec center so we can have an overall discussion publicly. I really don't support the training center being broken up for a rec center because of long-term planning for public safety. But the concept of a sports center in our community is one that's been talked about for a long time. And I'd like to get the community involved, much like Calais Stadium, where a private nonprofit organization helped to raise the $10 million, and which would aid in our economic development through tourism. So if there's anything in our budget supporting a rec center at the training center, I would like that to be taken out and brought in separate for discussion. And I do support the idea of a rec center, but it's the training center, and why I supported that purchase of that property for our long-term needs of public safety. You cannot turn this TV or newspaper on today and see the necessity of training. And a multi-jurisdictional training facility helping our career and volunteer emergency responders with a 10-year vision plus with room to grow on that site, I think should remain for the training academy. And we as a board look at other opportunities and bringing the public together to build a rec center. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Myers? Nothing for me today. Commissioner Barr?
Good morning to everyone that's here. Likewise, every week I'm attending the Maryland Association of County legislative meetings in Annapolis, and we are off for tomorrow and next Wednesday, but we'll be back for one more session before the Maryland General Assembly session is completed and sine die. So very active, reviewing a number of legislative items both locally and across the state, and Wednesdays are pretty lively down there. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, reports from county staff. We have any staff here today that care to provide a report? Okay.
It's my distinct honor today to introduce you to the new executive director of the Community Free Clinic. Her name is Michelle Goldman. Michelle, can you join me over here for a second? Michelle has just recently joined the clinic. She will be replacing Robin Robertson, who's given us many years of service at the clinic. As commissioners and many are aware, the commissioners have supported the clinic for many years. They've provided over $4.5 million in funding to the Community Free Clinic, whose mission is, or whose vision is, that all uninsured citizens of Washington County, Maryland, are healthier and more productive through free access to health care. So, Michelle, where do you come to us from? Which area?
I live in West Virginia, near Shepherdstown, and my experience is I ran a free clinic in Jefferson County for the last 10 years. So, although I'm coming to a new area that I'm learning all about, at least I do have some experience with the free clinic world. So.
Okay, Michelle, thank you very much. We look forward to working with you and some continued assistance, so thank you. And Commissioners, it is my particular honor now to recognize our exiting Executive Director, Robin Robertson. Robin, could you come up, please? I've known Robin for, well, since I came to the county about 14 years ago. She's done an absolutely tremendous job as the director of the free clinic. You'll find no better advocate, no more hardworking executive director than Robin. Robin, how many people have we helped since you've been with the clinic? Do you have any idea what that number may be? Hundreds of thousands?
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of folks have been helped because of Robin's work and the staff's work at the Community Free Clinic. Robin's supported here by a wonderful board of directors, the president of the boards here, and many other board members. They've been absolutely wonderful partner in the community. I've enjoyed working with Robin over the years, and Robin is the quintessential perfect grantee, meaning whenever she receives funding from the Board of County Commissioners or others, you'll never find anyone more appreciative. When we have to reduce her funding for whatever reason, she takes that in stride and she makes do and reduces her budgets to accommodate our needs. She understands that we have budgetary constraints that we must work in. So we have never received a complaint from Robin, nothing but being appreciative for what she does receive. So, Robin, I'm going to turn it over now to President Baker for a presentation, if that's okay. But thank you very much.
Don't we have a 5K race on Saturday named after you, or is that your, oh, it's Run for Your Luck, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hovis. Good morning. How are you today? Congratulations to Ms. Goldman. We wish you the best of luck, and we're going to have a great event in Washington County this coming Saturday, the St. Patrick's Day Run, and that's a big help to your organization, so partnership with Washington County. And Mrs. Robertson, I want to thank you for the many years that you've provided compassion and help in our community, and certainly hate to see you leave. And I think if you reconsider and you want to come back to help Washington County in any other capacity, we would welcome. We would welcome your participation. So Washington County does have a certificate of appreciation for Robin Robertson, in appreciation of your many years of service to the Community Free Clinic in Hagerstown. We, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, hereby commend you on your leadership and dedication to the community and for making Washington County a healthier place for our citizens. We sincerely thank you for your contributions to Washington County. Again, signed by all 5 county commissioners, and we just, from the bottom of our hearts, we just want to say thank you very much.
Would you like to say a few words, please?
I'd just like to say it's been both an honor and a privilege to be able to lead the Community Free Clinic and to work with everyone in Washington County who supported and donated and rolled up their sleeves to work for the Community Free Clinic. It truly has been a ministry for both Adam and I. It's been a way that we can serve underprivileged and people that are just in really bad places at certain points in their life. We still are not state or federally funded except through the county, so we are still a grassroots organization, and we depend on our community to keep our doors open. And there have been some tough times, but through very generous people in the community and organizations and the county and the city, we've been able to stay afloat, and we are extremely grateful for everything that you personally have done and the extremely generous financial support that you've given to the clinic. The clinic is in very good hands moving forward. This is not something that I really wanted to do, but something I have to do. So it's difficult, but I know that the clinic's always going to march forward. We have a wonderful board of directors that's very committed, and I look forward to seeing what the clinic brings in the future. So thank you so much. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Yes.
Morning.
Morning.
Yes, oh, you're still part of staff?
Yeah, staff comments, sir. Looks like we're ready to, in the past, we had part of a co-op for natural gas with the school board, and the bid's going to be coming up in the next month. Now, we need to agree to a primary and secondary representative, as we have in the past, to be able to sign the contract because once the bids come in on that day. In the past, it's always been myself and Karen. Since Karen's retired, we have Rick Curry in the position, so I was wondering if we had your blessing to move forward with the bid. In the past, we basically cut the gas price in half from 2009 to 2015. So, and the hope is that it's going to be lower this year. But the natural gas bid will be held sometime in the next 3 weeks, I believe it is.
Yes.
The way it sounds.
So what is it you're exactly looking for from us today?
I need your approval for one, to be the primary, as I have in the past, and two is to be able to sign the bid when it comes in, because it is very time sensitive, because the price will go up within 24 hours, and then we'll come before the board and do a report as we have in the past with Richard Anderson.
Rob?
What are your thoughts?
So specifically, I'm sorry, if you could just repeat that for clarity, Jim, what exactly you're asking for?
The approval to be the primary contact for the gas bid, and also to be able to approve and sign off on the price, the contract of the bid on the day of the bid, because the price will be is only good for so long.
If you wouldn't mind, if we could get something, perhaps even today before the commissioners convene, in writing, just something that they could all see in writing.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with this
You
system.
done this in the past?
Yes,
Yes.
since,
It's been done since 2015.
well, actually,
So in
2009.
total dollars,
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure what we're looking at here in dollars.
You're saying 24 hours, the price could go up, or
Yes.
that's locked out?
Yeah,
You're
we're given a time frame of 24 hours to sign the contract, and unfortunately, the contract's never on a Tuesday, or the bid in on a Tuesday, so it's hard to get back in here to get your permission. If, in fact, it does, and I don't think they have the firm date yet, but if it does get bid on a Tuesday, we will come as soon as we can back to ask for confirmation. I know, it's going to be difficult.
Is this a purchasing thing where we're the lead agent and then the city?
School board is the lead agent, and we're piggybacking on it.
That and the volunteer fire companies are also part of that process too.
Who?
They're included in- the
Volunteer fire companies. In the past, and we might have an issue with the smaller accounts this year, we're not sure yet, whether they're going to allow those to bid. We'll know that on the day of the bid.
It's a situation where everybody comes together to leverage purchasing power.
Correct.
So we'll just go ahead and do it.
The intent is to get the best price possible. Correct.
Exactly. Yeah, we won't sign unless we're saving money.
Right, okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thank you. Good luck. Any other staff reports?
I do, President Baker. First, as Commissioner Klein pointed out, the home show staff was attended, and I heard, was it Tom Brown, Dave, that was presenting a great deal of fire safety information over. Okay. Glad you could all be here, Dale, Bob, Nicole. Appreciate you being here. So that turned out to be a fantastic event, and I know Dale had very good feedback from that experience in attending, so thank you. And I think that's an excellent idea from Commissioner Klein. It is in the study. There is study money in this year's budget for FY19 that is yet to be adopted. So it's the perfect time to come together to bring more information. We have conceptuals. We've spent no engineering, designer, consultant money on this yet. Sheriff's been involved with the, in fact, the sheriff and Dave have both been involved with the planning stage. It is a 49-acre site, and the prospects for combining, because the $5 million for the training center wasn't going to make everything that necessarily was requested by the emergency services. We thought this was a potential for collaboration and cost effectiveness. So we'll bring that before the board as soon as possible to get more distinct approval for it. So thank you, Commissioner Klein, for your recommendation.
Your support on that.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other staff? Got to move quick.
This will be brief. I just
I didn't
felt
mean
it
it that way, I
prudent. I felt it prudent to give you a real quick briefing of where we are on the firefighter staffing initiative to the volunteer corporations throughout the county. March is the first month that we've been at a position that we can actually begin to deploy that staffing. We still have some training that needs to occur at several of the stations. Our plan is to come back sometime in April at a open session and give you a more detailed briefing. But right now, just to give you a picture, we're about 300 to 400 hours of county employee staffing out on the volunteer stations. I can't tell you exactly how many stations are participating at this point. That's being driven by Assistant Director Hart, but I thought it was a good time, especially since we're coming into difficult budget decisions and conversations, to provide that information. So,
Thank you. Okay, any other staff? I'm not going to forget you. Okay, boards and commissions?
Yes, I have appointments for the members of the Washington County Ethics Commission are proposed as follows. We propose to appoint Michelle Elise and Stephen Swain to serve a first 3-year term through March 31st, 2021. To appoint Alan Levin to serve an unexpired term through September 30th, 2018. And to reappoint Brian Kane as the attorney member to a 4th 3-year term retroactive October 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2020.
Okay, I have a motion for those approvals. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? 5-0. Thank you, commissioners. Any else? Okay, I need to reset my clock. I'm here looking at my clock. It says 9:26, so it must be 10:26. Okay, citizens' participation. We have any citizens here today care to participate? Okay, I see none. Let's move down to the presentation of the FY19 Sheriff's Budget Request. Sheriff Mullendore, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
We'll start out with, and I believe it's tab 7-3, the judicial. We are requesting $231,320 increase, which is a 9.12. A good portion of that is because of the midterm COLA and benefits that resulted from that. We are asking for $48,670 in overtime, and that's due to many of the judges are running over on their court time, so they're holding courts in the evenings and so forth, and also for operations of staffing for meetings and things of that nature. In the actual operations, we're only asking for $3,170, and that $2,430 of that is to replace 5 shotguns that we can no longer get parts and repair those. They are pretty old, have been used for some period of time. And then the rest is increase in insurance and also a small amount for gasoline. Any questions on the judicial budget? Moving ahead to the process servers, it's 11,009.
I'm sorry, what was the percent increase on the
9.12.
Okay, thank you.
On the process servers, $11,920 for an 8.28% increase. $8,248 of that is for an increase in the hourly wage for the process servers to go from $17.37 to $20. That particular job has become much more complex and risky due to the environment that we have. They actually go out and are setting people out on the street in some cases, or in a more hostile environment, serving papers and things of that nature. They are unarmed, and so we are asking for that increase. The rest is for the midterm COLA and benefits. Any questions on the process servers? Patrol, we're asking for $1,992,030 or a 19.43 increase. I will point out that $945,910, almost $946,000, is for the midterm increase and of the COLA and the benefits. We are also asking for a replacement program for deputies who are in the drop program that we anticipate at the end of their drop to be able to put them into an academy and field training so that we have a replacement in place. We have a fairly significant turnover in now with people aging within their career, and they are now starting to retire. And that affects our operations dramatically when we have 4 or 5 positions within a year that we have to replace. And I will point out that some of those are judicial officers, and we have to move somebody from patrol, take them off patrol and put them in judicial right away because we only have limited staffing and they have to be in the courts and be able to do transports and things like that. So that hurts the patrol shifts, and then we end up paying overtime to maintain minimum manpower on the patrol shifts during that time period. The other thing that we've asked is to begin a cadet program. We had a cadet program a number of years ago where we can leverage students who are 18 years of age to be able to assist us with traffic, with special events, with a whole variety of activities that we do on a daily basis. And then those people, we get a work ethic, basically a history from them. And so when they turn 20 and a half, we can then put them into an academy if we have an open position. And that gives both of us advantages. First of all, it helps them to pay for their college, and it also helps us to provide services to them and then have a deputy that we already know is reliable and a good worker. $919,310 is an increase in operations, but I need to point out that $840,000 of that is to pay for the speed cameras, the $3,100 per month that we have to pay Breckford for each of those speed cameras. So that program, the operation of the cost of the operation of that program is actually reflected in the patrol budget now.
But that comes out of the...
It comes out of the revenue. And then $27,690 because of the increase in uniforms makes up that amount. I will also tell you that we have $58,510 for body armor replacement, for replacement of tasers. Just like any other equipment, tasers gets to a point where they will not repair them any longer, and we have to replace them rather than trying to repair them. There's also $22,000 for replacement of a shingle roof on a 7-bay garage that we have there we use for evidence and property storage as well as other storage. And then there's $46,310 for the vehicle and equipment that the commissioners already approved for the community deputy, but because that operations would show in the patrol budget, that's reflected there.
Does that money come out of, I can't remember, Wayne, does that money come out of the speed cameras?
That's what we are going to match that expense to.
But all expenses are reflected in the patrol, and then the revenue side will take care of that. Any questions on patrol?
I would just like to say that the request to hire replacement deputies a year or several months in advance is a good idea. The reason we have the drop program is to plan for those retirements. We know when people are retiring, and certainly a department like yours where you need as many deputies as you can, I would certainly support that.
It actually takes 10 months from the time that they enter academy till they are able to patrol on their own. So if we had to wait till that person retired and then hired them, you're actually about a year or a little longer, depending on when the academy starts, getting that position replaced. So if you have 3, 4, 5 within a year, that really hurts the operation to not do that. So now we're anticipating that and trying to
Sheriff, of your previous I'm sorry, you done with? Of your previous cadet programs
yes.
and all the training, cadets get through the training, what percentage of those cadets remain in Washington County?
Actually, I have one person who's now a sergeant with the Sheriff's Office who was a cadet at one time. All of them actually became deputies eventually, and either stayed with the department for a significant period of time. Sergeant Darrell Sanders was actually a cadet many, many years ago and has remained with the department ever since. It's a good opportunity for them to learn the operations, the policies and procedures of the Sheriff's Office, and at the same time earn funds that they can use to pay for their college career, which also benefits the county in the long run. And they do stay.
Yeah. I just, sometime if you get the percentage, I'd like to.
Okay. Actually, what we did, the reason we don't have the cadet program, Commissioner, is they, at one time, we were dispatched by the City of Hagerstown Police Department. When the Sheriff's Office did their own dispatch center at the Sheriff's Office, the cadets actually became the PCOs or the dispatchers at that time. And then many of them went on to stay as dispatchers, and some of them came on to be deputies with the Sheriff's Office.
So they're local, they're county employees.
Oh, absolutely, they're all local people.
That's what I'd like to see. Just
Oh,
how
they're
we have
100% local people. We would actually work with the.
I didn't mean that. What percentage of them are still committed to Washington County, of the ones that went through the program?
Okay, I can get
That's
that
all
for
I
you.
want.
Gotcha. Any more questions on patrol? Central booking, actually there's a decrease there in wages of $26,920. The reason being is we've put some newer deputies, some less senior deputies in those positions. And so there would also be a $44,640 decrease in health insurance as a result. Operating expenses are, we've asked for an increase of $3,100. And that is primarily to install valves with the sewage system so that they can't plug up the toilets and flood the area, which has happened several times. So we do that in the jail as well. We're able to turn those off, and that way it doesn't flood. In addition, there's a request for $26,200. We have a live scan fingerprint machine within central booking, so anyone who's arrested has to be digitally fingerprinted, and that information then goes to the state and ultimately to the FBI. Those machines are only serviced for 5 years, the warranty, and then they have to be replaced after that by state law. So, any questions on central booking? The detention center, looking for a $421,690 increase. $359,000 is due to the midterm COLA and benefits. $62,000 in operations, and that's primarily because of the medical contract and the food service contract. We have a COLA that increases that by contract, and so majority of that is for that increase. Any questions on detention center? Day reporting center is a increase of $5,730. That's primarily there's 7,000 of it is because of the midterm adjustment and the COLA. We actually did a decrease in operations of $27,760. As we become more efficient, we're able to reduce some of the contracts as well as our testing urinalysis. We've been able to do that for free unless we have to retest on the positives, and so we've been able to reduce those costs as well. Any questions on day reporting? Narcotics Task Force, increase of $55,240. $17,840 is due to the midterm adjustment and COLA. There was a change in the state's attorney who was assigned there, so there's a little bit of a savings in the wages there. We're asking for an increase of $26,660 on the operations side. Most of that is request for another vehicle to be leased, which saves us on purchasing a vehicle, and they're able to turn those in. So in undercover operations, obviously a vehicle gets burnt pretty quickly. We're able to turn those vehicles in at any time and replace those as part of the contract. So it makes it very lucrative to do that. We're also asking for 11 Surface Pros and the air cards that go with those. And because of the type of technology that we use today for doing surveillances and when we do undercover buys and things like that, the officers need that type of equipment to be able to monitor that in real time so that if there's something that occurs, they can move in rapidly to address that. And then the last is $24,600 for night vision monoculars for the special response team. Any questions on Narcotics Task Force?
Any questions, Commissioners?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Contract award PUR 1268, Antietam Wastewater Treatment Plant Upgrade, Mr. Curry and Mark Bradshaw. How are you two this morning?
Morning. Okay. Before you, subject is contract award PUR 1268 Antietam Wastewater Treatment Plant Upgrade. The recommended motion is to award the contract for the Antietam Wastewater Treatment Plant Upgrade Project to responsive bidder, Johnston Construction Company of Dover, Pennsylvania, who submitted the lowest total sum bid amount of $581,836 for items number 1 through 22, plus contingent items C1 through C3, and also to approve a budget transfer from LIN 0441 to TRP 017. In the RF, it talks about the work to be done at Antietam. Basically, it's a headworks, a lot of work to be done there. It shows the listing of the bid document on the various websites, that of the county and of the Maryland Marketplace. Funds in amount of $470,532.47 is in TRP 017. I'd like to point out, though, that if you look at the bid tab sheet on item number 9 for Johnston Construction Company, it shows that they initially put a price in of $10,040, but in their submission of their bid, the actual price is $110,040. That's why we're recommending they be awarded for the $581,836.
Any questions, comments? Motion to move forward is presented. Need a second? Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Did you vote? Okay. 5-0? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation of the FY19 personnel request. Ms. Stone, Director of Health, how are you this morning?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Stone, Director of Health and Human Services.
Sarah Greaves, Chief Financial Officer.
If you turn to page 6-1 in your budget books, which I believe you guys have, that's where I'll be working from. Sarah and I will be working from that. Page 6.6-1 is the summary of all the personnel requests. I'm going to go through them individually, but this will give you a summary at the end as to the grand total. So if you go to 6-2, that's the detail on the personnel request for FY 2019. And I'll be going down through function areas. The first one is from the CFO, a request for a new position for mail processor. This position, the mail processor position, was eliminated in the last budget cycle, and these duties were shifted to the purchasing department. Purchasing personnel now spend 20 hours per week performing this work, and it's proven to be very disruptive. They have to, when they are in the middle of working, they have to go down and do the mail and then come back up, pick up where they left off. So it's not as efficient as previously thought. Other departments also face the cost of time. For example, budget and finance personnel now run their own jobs, sometimes at 4 hours per job. This is down in the mailroom. In the interest of customer service and functionality, it is recommended to reinstate the positions. The CFO is asking that. As you can see, the recommendation is that this not be filled, and that recommendation is based on discussion previous to the commissioners' meeting today.
I'm sorry, what did you say about recommendation not being filled? That's staff's recommendation?
Yes.
So in quick, you have this large binder, which the sections that the sheriff shared with you and are being shared with you now are largely in your agenda package as well. So there's some redundancy there for convenience. And what you're going to see in both sheets, which are the same, is there is a request and there is a recommendation. Sometimes those are the same, sometimes those are different.
Correct. Thanks, Rob. The next section will be under the sheriff's office, under judicial. And a lot of this is what you've just heard from the sheriff, but I'm just going to reiterate the same thing as part of personnel requests. There's a request to increase overtime of $48,670. As you can see, recommended is the same amount, $48,670. And for several reasons, it's absolutely necessary to increase overtime. At the halfway point of FY 2018, the overtime budget is already at 98.37% expended. So much of this is attributed to the increased number of judges holding court well into the evening hours. We have to have somebody available. Major criminal cases such as murder trials may take as much as a week. There has also been an increase in the number of evening meetings at the courthouse and the county administration building that require their services. So again, it is recommended to provide for this increase in overtime. Again, under the sheriff's office, process servers, there is an increase in the increase requested in the part-time hourly rate for servers. Requesting an increase in the hourly rate for 2 part-time civil process servers who are already on staff that work 28 hours per week. The increase is requested from $17.37 per hour to $20 per hour. Their workload has become increasingly complex and dangerous over the past few years. The sheriff has already talked about this. The environment they work in is often unpleasant, and many of the tenants have to be forcibly removed and have criminal records. This position requires a thorough knowledge of landlord, tenant, and other civil laws. So the recommendation is to increase the part-time hourly rate, which will cost $8,240 in the budget. Okay, next under the sheriff is for patrol. The sheriff is requesting 3 cadet deputy positions. The goal is to work closely with the Board of Education and the Hagerstown Community College, who already have students who are enrolled and graduating in the criminal justice curriculum. We will solicit and then select from their best and brightest who are interested in becoming sworn deputy sheriffs in our agency when they become 21 years old. A number of vacancies are anticipated, and our main goal is to prepare for imminent retirements of our patrol personnel and also those who are leaving for employment with other agencies or in the private sector. So the request is for 3, the recommendation is for 1 at the cost of $48,500. Any questions? Next under sheriff is again with the patrol department. There's their request for an increase in full-time wages for those who will be leaving county employment as part of the DROP program. This program is to hire replacement deputies 1 year in advance for those leaving in the DROP program. While the sheriff realizes there will be a significantly higher initial savings by not hiring the replacement deputy in advance, this program would basically be cost neutral to the county. The benefits are that we have the ability to put a replacement deputy in the police academy and then get them through their field training program so they can be ready for solo patrol by the time the person they are replacing leaves through the DROP program. And that will be throughout fiscal 2019. As it stands now, it takes about 1 year or longer to replace deputies who leave through the DROP program. The loss of these positions greatly affects the sheriff's ability to provide law enforcement services to the citizens of the county. So the request is for $244,490. The recommendation from staff is that the start date is 9 months in advance of when that individual is leaving. So whenever that individual is scheduled to leave, the next individual would be hired to go through the academy 9 months ahead of that leave. So that would be part of the planning. And given that, the cost would be $183,368. Questions on that? Okay. Next is under Sheriff Patrol, a request for overtime. In order to monitor and approve the speed camera citations in a timely manner, the program coordinators must access the system at times other than their duty hours. It is estimated the 2 personnel will average 6 hours of overtime a week, and their average overtime rate is $49.11 per hour. So that's the request. The recommendation is that we provide that at $16,950 in the budget.
And that comes out of the speed camera money?
That just comes out of the general operating budget.
Which the speed camera money for the sheriff's office does support, yes. You will not make additional revenue, nor will the sheriff's office from those positions being increased, but those positions are partially funded, as is the entire operation partially funded by the speed cameras. So the short answer to your question is yes.
Okay.
It's public safety related.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, any other questions? That's the Sheriff's Department. Next will be in the 911 Center. The request is for new positions, 4 of them at a cost of $237,792. These positions are needed to help address increases in call volume and associated radio traffic in the Emergency Communications Center. The positions will allow timely 30-minute meal breaks for these staff and 1 to 2 additional 10-minute breaks throughout the shift. Without the new positions, management of a 30-minute meal break would span 5 to 6 hours for the 10 to 12 Emergency Communications Center staff. The positions will aid in replacing or covering full-time staff who are out or on extended illness or leave. The recommendation from staff is that we replace with 2 at a cost of $118,896. Okay, the next is under EMS operations. The request is for a new position for an emergency management system quality assurance officer at a cost of $84,762. This position provides support to the assistant director and would oversee the jurisdictional quality assurance program. It would assist the AD in the oversight of the EMS operational program and be able to fill in if the AD was absent, assistant director. The recommendation from staff is that this not be filled, so there would be no additional cost. In the EMS operations, there's a new position. This is for the EMS medical director. This is a half-time, part-time position. The cost would be $2,168. The request is to move the current EMS medical director position from a contractual position to an actual part-time position with the county. This removes the need for advertising or an RFP. It also allows the medical director to stay for multiple years without having to reapply when the terms of the contract expire. The salary is based on a 20-hour work week. The $25,000 offset, there is a $25,000 offset in the amount that we're currently paying in contracted services. So the total request is for $2,168 to provide for this to be an employee.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
No notice to reapply, would that also be no notice to dismiss? That means we terminate earlier unless there was a contract we'd be obligated to. Would that be a possibility as well?
I believe this would be correct. Okay? Because they would be our employee.
We can take those considerations into account when we execute this, if and when it's approved. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Under emergency management, there is a request for a new position. It's a part-time, half-time position. The cost would be $18,888 for the year. The division would like to hire a part-time employee to assist with emergency management duties. The employee would work on average 15 hours per week. It's recommended that that not be filled. Okay, that's it for emergency services. Any questions? Okay, under Parks and Facilities, we are requesting additional funding to cover the increase of travel athletics that has prompted the Parks Department to schedule county athletic fields late March through October, which is 7 months in the year. The additional seasonal, these are seasonal staff hours, are required for daily and weekend maintenance. The county has acquired several properties for right-of-ways and road improvements, and these properties are maintained by the Parks and Facilities Department, requiring additional seasonal staff hours. It is recommended that this additional funding is provided for these additional seasonal staff hours at $16,610.
Jim, what's the definition of travel athletics?
That's the use of the facilities that we have for tournaments on a weekend basis for travel,
It's
baseball,
teams
travel,
it's
softball.
teams from outside of the area traveling to Washington County.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
And the reason that's so important, sir, is that hotel revenue tax, restaurants, merchants, as well as our CVB has been a very big proponent of this. It actually does create a great deal of revenue for the local merchants and HRT.
Correct.
The HRT is probably significantly more affected by that, by having the decent facilities.
And this has been increasing over the years.
How about the use of the fees for the facilities? Have they been increased or considered to help compensate?
Dave's not here, yeah. 2 to 3 years ago, we increased them, so. And we were talking about increasing them next year. Maybe next year. To re-increase.
What's a field up at Pinesburg at the? What's the?
$25 per field per day.
Tournament's $250 plus $5 a team per field.
And our fields are such that they're in demand. I can tell you, if Dave was here, he would tell you that.
Are you suggesting a rate increase because of the demand?
That is not something I'm suggesting. That's a trick question. I know it is.
If Dave were here, as Stephanie said, he would say no.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sure. Next, under highways, there's a request for new positions. 2 of them, there's an additional personnel needed for stormwater management. This is the clean initiative that we are taking on in the county. This is a mandated expense and will be paid for through project DNG 039 stormwater retrofits in the CIP. And Jim can certainly tell you what all that means. But the recommendation is to, yes, fill those 2 positions, and there would be no cost to the county because it would be paid for through this project.
To the operating budget, there would be a CIP cost, and it is a program CIP cost.
Yes, it is in the CIP budget.
So it's not a, I don't want to use the word grant, but
No, it is county funding in the CIP budget, and it's been there. We've had to program X amount of dollars for the next 10 years based on regulations from MDE. Right, Rob?
So the former director of environmental management brought before you probably 2 to 3 years ago, after over 18 months of work with the towns and the city of Hagerstown, so forth, at MDE's mandate, a cost of about $800 million to clean up the Chesapeake Bay, and Washington County's portion would be $800 million to do the projects listed. What we've tried to do back at the time, we put $800,000 in the CIP, hoping that that would show goodwill to MDE and we could do more cost effective as the models improved and so forth. This is one of those models through Scott Hobbs' office, as well as Alex Reed. Dave Mason is here. We have reviewed this to find that this is the most cost-effective means to have clean county, which would basically entail a street sweeper these two positions would be through the highway department, would be paid through that CIP project. So it is a CIP cost. It's already been budgeted. It's been budgeted for a number of years. It's already there.
So that's why it's no cost to the budget.
No
No
cost to the
cost to the
operating
operating
budget.
budget.
Thank you.
Next in highways, this is a request for new positions, one new position at a cost of $7,800. It's an additional crew that is needed to supply, so we need an additional inmate guard for an additional crew that's needed to supply services to the municipalities. So the request is for 2 part-time inmate guards, but it makes one full-time equivalent. And they're needed for this additional crew, which is approximately 75% of this cost, will be billed to the municipalities. And that's already been worked out with them, and the recommendation is that it will cost $7,800. Okay. Anything else on highways? Okay, moving to solid waste, there's a new position requested. An additional solid waste equipment operator is requested, and it will cost $69,238. And this is to keep up with the daily operations of the solid waste department. With this position, it's expected to achieve an increased tracking and efficiency / waste to energy, which is to be determined. So in other words, this position is expected to increase the ability to track and efficiency in the waste energy department, waste energy as part of that department. So it is recommended that that position be filled, and a cost of $69,238. Okay. Again, staying in solid waste, there is a new position recommended as one additional weight clerk at a cost of $60,688. An additional weight clerk is needed to maintain consistent scale house operations. Staff recommendation is that this not be filled. Okay. Under utility administration, this is for new position, and we're talking here about internships. So the request is for 1 part-time intern. So in order to comply with the county's NPDES permit requirements, the county is required to map the county's drainage system infrastructure. So we need somebody who can do that infrastructure, who can figure that out for us. We would like to utilize internship positions to aid county staff in completing the required mapping. In order to attract interest for an internship with Washington County, we would like to offer a paid internship position. For FY 2019, we are proposing 2 paid internship positions for 120 hours for 3 school semesters. So they would be in school, and they would be our interns, and this would be one way that we can help to get the individuals interested in becoming county employees in the department. So the cost would be, we are recommending that we fill 1 full-time equivalent, and the cost would be $7,745. Now, this is something new.
Since this is specific to one project, then would that expense go away in the next year's budget? Since the project would be completed, we wouldn't need that intern. Maybe we'd look for an intern for a different department in the county?
I think the term of the apprenticeship is for 3 years.
Okay.
So I think we would see a recurring cost for at least 3 years if the county wanted to continue the apprenticeship program.
Dan DeVito is quite excited about this in collaboration with DLLR. Kelly Schultz, Secretary Schultz has been working with Washington County and her staff on internships and apprenticeships and career education. And this is a track that establishing more folks that know about water quality for upcoming positions that will be available would be very helpful. over the long term.
So then, as we're thinking about this internship, again, which is, I think, a great way to get people involved, we are also asking for one position as an apprentice plant operator in water quality. The cost for this would be $41,263. So we're asking in fiscal year 2019, this would be in conjunction with the Maryland Department of Labor and Licensing, and this is something that they are looking for counties to be involved with. The Water Quality Department would like to start an apprenticeship or an apprentice program for water and wastewater operators. And in this way, individuals, there's some information that goes more into that, but this way we would have individuals who would be in an apprenticeship program and hopefully being able to move into open positions as plant operators. So staff's recommendation is yes to be involved with this program at a cost of $41,263. Questions on that? Anything else on water quality or? Okay, so the airport. The airport is requesting a new position. It's a half-time, part-time position at a cost of $22,154. There are currently 4 full-time airfield maintenance staff, and over the years, their workload has increased to the point that they cannot keep up with the demands. In 2011, the fire chief's position was eliminated when that individual was appointed the airport director. We are now using one of the full-time airfield maintenance staff members to administer our aircraft rescue firefighting programs. This responsibility continues to grow. With the increased demand for this service, the airport would like to keep him, this individual, in the fire station 2 days per week. This continues to weaken the ability to maintain the airfield and the facilities. Due to this, the part-time staff member could also fill in for vacancies that exist in the terminal maintenance department from time to time. So this is to help fill in and do some of the additional things that has been required of the airfield maintenance staff. So the recommendation is that yes, to fill this position half-time at $22,154. Those are the details of the position. The total number requested is 17.5 positions, and the cost is all on your summary page 6.1, and then the details are behind.
Would it be possible for me to get I'd like to see a printout of something on by department, the number of, and maybe by 3, 4, 5 years, how many jobs they had 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, full-time and part-time positions.
All departments? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
It's a good
idea. Yeah.
And just so the commissioners are aware, there is extra additional backup for every single request for you guys to go through if you need it.
How many staff? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Rezoning application schedule.